So this is actually a review of two books, Big Book of Fashion and Great Big Book of Fashion, both by Martin Dorber, who has done a number of these sort of contemporary fashion books and some other books on contemporary illustration. But these were the two that really caught my eye. They're definitely his biggest books, as you probably could have guessed from the title. When I saw that one was called Big Book of Fashion Illustration and the second one was called Great Big Book of Fashion Illustration, I wondered if maybe Great Big Book was just sort of like an updated and expanded version of the first one, and I can tell you that that's not the case. They've both got completely different content. Of course, similar stuff, but there's no repetition between the two. So the reason that I was really drawn to these two books is because, unlike a lot of books on fashion illustration, of which there are many, a lot of those other fashion art books tend to feel very samey as you go through them, and these two definitely were not that. They have such a huge range of styles, just very versatile. Sometimes even on the same page you can get three images that look completely different because they're by three completely different artists. And then the other thing that I really liked about the books is they weren't fashion illustration tutorials or like how-to books, how to draw fashion illustration. They're really just books for inspiration and showcasing different artists. And these are the only fashion illustration books I own, actually, because you don't have to be a fashion illustrator or aficionado to enjoy these books, not at all. These books are just a really great sort of collection and inspiration for just contemporary illustration in general. So the reason that I'm reviewing these books together is because they really do just go very well together. They very much seem like, part of the same series. Great Big Book of Fashion Illustration really does seem like a continuation of this one. So in terms of actually reviewing the books, it's actually kind of interesting because the book's biggest strength is also their biggest weakness, which is there's just so much stuff. So first I'll explain why that's a strength, which is pretty obvious because you are just getting so much stuff. It's different illustrative styles it covers is so fantastic. It's just such a wonderful book of inspiration, and there's just so much. Your eyes and mind never get bored when you're going through these books. Each book has over 1,000 images and over 250 illustrators, which makes them one of the biggest anthology art books, especially in terms of the number of artists included, which is great because I've discovered so many new favorites. But that huge number of artists and images is also, like I said, a weakness, because as with any anthology of any sort, usually means you're going to get a pretty mixed bag. There'll be some stuff you really like and some stuff that's just okay, and then some stuff you really don't like. And so in that light, both these books are not necessarily the strongest art anthologies I've ever seen. The consistency varies wildly. You'll see an illustration that you absolutely love and is an amazing piece, and then on the same page there'll also be a piece that is absolute crap, and you'll struggle to comprehend why someone would publish that image in a book. And a lot of that just has to do with the fact that with these books it's a numbers game, because there are so many more images and artists than there are in a typical anthology. It means that while the number of pieces you really like will probably be a lot higher, it also means that the pieces you don't like, there's going to be a lot more of that as well. So you'll find yourself sometimes going, page after page after page of nothing you really like, and then eventually you'll hit some point where you're like, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that. And so it's a very sort of bumpy experience going through, and at some points you'll feel like, and when you hit one of those points where you're just sort of looking at a lot of stuff that you're not really that wowed by, you'll sort of start questioning why you bothered buying this book. But that leads me to a very important point. The price for this book is absolutely right. That's why I grabbed two of them. They're like $20 each, and the actual physical book itself, the construction is absolutely fine. They're paperback, but the binding for such big books seems to be really great, and paper quality really great, reproductions, all that jazz, really good. So when you consider that price for the amount of stuff you're getting, you can't go too far wrong. Which is why I chose to get these 2 books out of all of Martin Dorber's art books, because his other ones were roughly the same price, but they're much smaller and seem to have the same level of inconsistency in terms of quality. So these ones were, the safest bet, and I'm really glad I got both of these. I don't think I've seen any fashion illustration books that I've enjoyed as much as both of these. They're really great, so I absolutely recommend them to beyond people who are interested in fashion illustration, to, like I said, people who are just sort of interested in contemporary illustration in general, lifestyle illustration, things like that, because it is chock full of really good inspiration and just really great visual stuff to look at and enjoy. As I was going through them, both books just felt so endless, but in the best way possible. So I haven't really got much more to say on the books, but because they're so long, it's going to take forever to flip through these, so I think I'll just leave the rest of this as a flip through.